Somewhere between pain and pleasure lies a path, a quiet road leading toward the end of all suffering. It's a path anyone can walk, if they're brave enough to face life's deepest questions. This journey wasn't charted by a divine being, but by a human, an ordinary man who dared to search for the extraordinary. Today, we tell the story of a prince who gave up everything we dream of in pursuit of something far greater: freedom from suffering for all living beings. In the silence of deep introspection, he uncovered truths that continue to transform lives even today. This is the story of Siddhartha Gautama, also known as the Buddha, and the timeless wisdom he discovered. The prince and the question that changed everything. Over 2,500 years ago in the kingdom of Kapilavastu, a child was born into mystery and prophecy. His name was Siddhartha Gautama. Wise sages predicted he would become either a great ruler or a spiritual teacher who would reshape the world. Fearing his son would choose the path of renunciation, King Suddhatana surrounded Siddhartha with endless comfort, shielding him from every hint of pain. Siddhartha grew up in a world of pleasure. Grand palaces, lavish feasts, joyful celebrations. He married the beautiful and kind Yashodhara, and to all outward appearances, his life was perfect. But deep inside, something stirred. He sensed a hidden truth beyond the palace walls, something no one dared speak of. For 29 years, he lived in luxury, untouched by hardship. Yet an invisible question gnawed at him. One day, he asked his charioteer, Channa, to take him beyond the gates. What he saw shattered the 4 encounters. As they rode through the streets, Siddhartha saw an old man, wrinkled, bent, and frail. "What has happened to him?" he asked. "He is old, my lord," Channa replied. "Everyone ages." Siddhartha was stunned. He had never imagined such transformation was the destiny of all. On another outing, he saw a man suffering from disease, gasping for breath, eyes clouded with pain. "What is wrong with him?" "He is ill, my lord. Illness can strike anyone at any time." Again, Siddhartha was shaken. He had believed health was permanent, but now he saw that the body is fragile. Then came the 3rd encounter. A corpse, carried through the streets, mourners weeping beside it. "What happened to him?" "He has died, my lord. Death comes for all." These words echoed like thunder in Siddhartha's mind. Everyone, old, young, rich, or poor, was walking toward the same end. In the midst of this revelation, he saw something else, a serene monk walking slowly, dressed simply, his face calm and composed. "Who is that man?" "A renunciate," Channa answered. "He has given up worldly life in search of peace." And in that moment, Siddhartha glimpsed something beyond suffering, tranquility in the midst of chaos. He began to wonder, is there a way out of suffering? That question planted the seed of his awakening. The Great Departure. With a heavy heart, Siddhartha left the palace, not just luxury and comfort, but his wife Yashodhara and newborn son Rahula. He watched them sleeping one last time, torn by love and duty. "How can I be a father or husband?" he thought, "while suffering still binds the world?" And so he stepped into the unknown, not to abandon, but to seek a path of liberation for all. Years of searching, Siddhartha began his journey by learning from the wisest spiritual teachers of his time. He studied under Alara Kalama, mastering deep states of meditation that led to profound stillness and the state of nothingness. But though he reached these heights, something felt incomplete. "Is this true liberation?" he asked. "There is nothing beyond this," his teacher replied. Unsatisfied, he moved on to Uddaka Ramaputta, who guided him to an even subtler state, neither perception nor non-perception. It was a realm beyond duality, beyond thought. Still, suffering returned once the meditation ended. Grateful but undeterred, Siddhartha realized that these paths, though powerful, were not enough. He needed to go further than any master had gone before. The path of extreme renunciation. Siddhartha then joined a group of ascetics who believed that the body must be conquered through pain and deprivation. He embraced this life completely, fasting until he was skin and bones, denying himself comfort, enduring unbearable conditions. To others, he was the very image of dedication. But inside, he knew peace had not yet arrived. Then, one day, he heard a musician teaching an apprentice by a river. If the string is too tight, it breaks. If it's too loose, it won't play. The secret is balance. Those words struck him like lightning. He realized his life had swung between extremes, indulgence in the palace and self-torture in the forest. Neither brought peace. The truth lay in balance, not too much, not too little. That moment was a turning point. The next day, when a village woman named Sujata offered him a bowl of rice and milk, he accepted it. The other ascetics saw this as betrayal. But Siddhartha had found something deeper, the middle way, a path of harmony between body, mind, and spirit. He thanked his companions and walked on, alone once again, but this time toward the light of realization. Enlightenment, the birth of the Buddha. His fellow ascetics criticized and abandoned him, convinced that Siddhartha had given up on his quest. But deep within, he knew he was closer to the truth than ever before. He realized that the path he sought could not be found through rituals, external teachings, or harsh discipline. No teacher could give him what he was searching for, because the answer lay within. So he turned inward. Beneath the Bodhi tree, Siddhartha sat down with unwavering resolve. He vowed that he would not rise again until he had awakened, until he had uncovered the answer to the suffering that binds all beings. He wasn't rushing. He understood that this moment would define his entire journey. Only through total clarity, beyond all doubt, could the truth reveal itself. Then came a final test, the temptation of Mara. As Siddhartha sank into deeper meditation, his mind was confronted by Mara, the embodiment of illusion and ego. Mara was not a creature of flesh and blood, but the symbolic force of fear, desire, and self-deception. Mara tried to tempt him with visions of beauty, sending his daughters, personifications of pleasure and lust, to seduce him. He summoned monstrous armies of demons to strike fear into Siddhartha's heart. He challenged his right to awaken and taunted him with self-doubt. But Siddhartha remained unmoved. He saw through the illusions. He neither feared Mara's attacks nor craved his temptations. Desire and fear dissolved before his stillness, like shadows retreating before the morning light. He did not resist. He simply saw them for what they were, empty appearances. With nothing left to use, Mara faded, defeated, not by violence, but by unwavering clarity. The temptation of Mara. As Siddhartha sank into deeper meditation, his mind was confronted by Mara, the embodiment of illusion and ego. Mara was not a creature of flesh and blood, but the symbolic force of fear, desire, and self-deception. Mara tried to tempt him with visions of beauty, sending his daughters, personifications of pleasure and lust, to seduce him. He summoned monstrous armies of demons to strike fear into Siddhartha's heart. He challenged his right to awaken and taunted him with self-doubt. But Siddhartha remained unmoved. He saw through the illusions. He neither feared Mara's attacks nor craved his temptations. Desire and fear dissolved before his stillness, like shadows retreating before the morning light. He did not resist. He simply saw them for what they were, empty appearances. With nothing left to use, Mara faded, defeated, not by violence, but by unwavering clarity. The moment of awakening. Some say Siddhartha meditated beneath the Bodhi tree for 49 days. Others say it was 7 days and 7 nights. What matters is this. At the age of 35, Siddhartha Gautama awakened. He saw the world not through the lens of ego, but through absolute insight. He realized not only the nature of suffering, but its cause and the path to its end. The 4 realizations. The first great realization was impermanence, anicca. Everything in existence is constantly changing. Just as the sun rises and sets, so too does every joy, every sorrow, every breath. Nothing lasts, nothing stays the same. And yet, humans suffer because we cling to what is temporary: our youth, our health, our relationships, our status. We resist change. We fear loss. But when we stop trying to hold on to what cannot be held, suffering begins to lose its grip. The second realization was the truth of suffering, dukkha. Suffering is not just physical pain or visible sorrow. It's the silent unease in our daily lives, the endless wanting, the subtle dissatisfaction, the fear of what might be lost. We suffer, not because life is flawed, but because we reject its nature. The third realization was the cause of suffering, tanha, or craving. Craving for pleasure, control, permanence, identity. We want to keep what pleases us and push away what doesn't. This craving gives rise to attachment, and attachment chains us to suffering. Siddhartha saw how the mind becomes a slave to its own desires. When we identify with possessions, ideas, or even with the self, we create a false permanence in a world that is ever-changing. The final realization was the cessation of suffering, nirodha. Freedom is possible, not by escaping life, but by meeting it fully, without clinging. When craving ends, suffering ends. What remains is peace, not dependent on external conditions, but rising from within. This freedom, this peace, is nirvana, not a place, but a state of being. The greatest teaching of the Buddha. After attaining enlightenment, Siddhartha did not retreat into solitude. He understood that his realization was not his alone. True wisdom, he knew, must be shared, not only through words, but through compassion in action. He returned to the world, not as a prince, nor as a seeker, but as the Buddha, the awakened one. His first teaching was to the very ascetics who had once rejected him. He explained that truth is not found in indulgence or self-punishment. It lies in balance, in the renunciation of attachment, in the clarity of mindfulness, and in the heart of compassion. And so he taught the 4 noble truths, the foundation of his awakening, and the essence of his teaching. The first noble truth, dukkha. Suffering exists. Life is marked by dissatisfaction, not just in obvious pain or loss, but in the restless pursuit of more. Even moments of joy carry the seed of their end. The second noble truth, samudaya. Suffering has a cause. That cause is desire, our insatiable craving for pleasure, control, and permanence. We chase fulfillment outside ourselves, but nothing external can satisfy a need born within. The third noble truth, nirodha. There is an end to suffering. When desire and attachment are released, suffering ceases. This is not the denial of life, but the embrace of it, without clinging. The fourth noble truth, magga. There's a path to that end, the Noble Eightfold Path. This path offers not doctrine, but a practice, a way of living rooted in wisdom, ethics, and mental discipline. Right view, seeing life as it truly is. Right intention, acting with compassion and selflessness. Right speech, speaking with kindness and honesty. Right action, living ethically and without harm. Right livelihood, earning in a way that supports peace. Right effort, cultivating good and letting go of harm. Right mindfulness, being present and fully aware. Right concentration, deepening awareness through meditation. Through this path, we don't escape suffering, we transform it. The legacy of the Buddha. The Buddha lived for 80 years. For the last 45, he walked across India, teaching all who would listen. He spoke to kings and beggars, scholars and farmers, women and men alike. He never claimed divinity, only that he had awakened, and that others could too. His life remains a testament to what's possible, that the human mind, no matter its pain or confusion, can awaken, that suffering is not the end of the story. That peace is not something we wait for, but something we realize here and now. Like Siddhartha, we are all invited to take that first step, to look within, to question, to seek, and to awaken. Because the journey of the Buddha is not just his, it is ours.